Changemaker Hub, striving to inspire change makers everywhere.
Welcome, Drayton. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. We're excited to have you. Thank you. So I want to do a quick intro and then give you a chance to talk more from your perspective. I've been doing a little bit of research on you online. I've learned how to say your name. So
Incredible.
This is Drayton Mulindabiwi Jabo. Welcome. So yeah, a few things I found out, that you're only 22 years old, but you're doing amazing work. You're the CEO of the Novus Group, and I want to know more about that, but just a quick overview of your journey so far. You won so many awards, the City of Ottawa Entrepreneurship Award, the youth category, as well as the RBC Innovation and Entrepreneurship Award. That's just a short list. I'm sure there's more. So I want to ask you, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and also talk about your childhood. What is a memorable time for you in your childhood?
That's a good question. It's always a good question. I think I was born and a little bit raised in Rwanda. I spent eight years of my life in Rwanda, and then that's when we immigrated to Canada. My childhood was awesome. I had a great childhood. I think the person I was when I was younger hasn't really changed all that much since I grew older. Obviously, I've gained experience in a lot of things, but when it comes down to my personality and the kind of person I am, I think I still have that childlike nature to me, and something I hold very dear to me. But my childhood I spent doing a lot of things that most children do, running around all over the place. I think all my fond memories are me doing something that required me running around doing something. Sometimes things I wasn't supposed to do, but
active child.
Definitely very, very active child. I'm the oldest of three brothers, so I have two younger brothers, and two parents as well. We all live together here in Ottawa.
Wow. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. It's good to know that you're from Rwanda. I'm from East Africa as well, so we're neighbors. We're cousins from Somalia.
Okay, I get that a lot. People think I'm Somalian.
It's true. It's just not Somali, guys. Pretty much the same thing, right? No, it's really nice that you shared your childhood and just growing up back home and what that means to you. I'm excited to learn a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. You're only 22, but you accomplished so much. So I want to kind of go back. How did that start for you? What started your entrepreneurship journey?
I think for me, I sometimes, when I'm with friends or with new connections I make, I sometimes get asked the questions like, when did you become an entrepreneur? Or have you always been an entrepreneur? But I don't know. I think I never really realized that I was entering the entrepreneurial world until later on. For me, it really stemmed from just this need of, I had this grand idea in my mind, and I was like, I have no choice but to make it happen. And then I just slowly made the steps to make it happen. Actually, I wouldn't say slowly. I think in my head it seemed like slow, but most people are like, whoa, that was very, very fast. I just kind of took the necessary steps, and next thing I know, I was in the business world, running a whole company. Always surprising, but I think it's like the good surprises, because now I'm on a path to making this vision that I had in mind. But it really stems from me having this great sense of curiosity and imagination and wanting really bad to make it happen, and then I kind of just got into it. And I would say that really started maybe three years ago now. Is when I firmly decided to make those necessary steps. But I think for anyone who's in or who believe that they have this entrepreneurial kind of mind and who are in this entrepreneurial world, I think it stems from your childhood, from doing things, from your personality. I was always a person who accepted challenges. I was always trying new things, trying to find new ways around problems, building some things, you know. So I think it started ever since I was young. It just firmly became what it is today in the last 3 years for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I definitely echo that in the sense that sometimes, you know, you could see now the trends in your childhood that you were always innovative, you're always solving problems. But the maturity level that I hear, you know, it's incredible. And, you know, like most kids are just discovering themselves. They, you know what I mean? They're finding their way. And I'm not calling you a kid, but you're a young adult, right? You're still starting your
Still a
journey.
kid.
Yes, but you're remarkably mature and innovative entrepreneur. So I'm excited to go a little bit deeper and talk about the initiatives that you started. Maybe tell me a little bit about that and where it started.
Yeah, I think where it all started, I can actually track it down because I'm someone who enjoys journaling. I don't know how I came about the whole journaling stage, but it started early since I was in seventh grade. I'm really glad I did because 3.5 years ago is when I first kind of wrote down this idea I had to create this one thing where I could make all and every crazy idea I had like possible. So creating this one thing that I could funnel all these ideas through and like bring them to life. And at the time, it obviously was just like a vision, and it was like, okay, so where do we go from now? And then a year later, it's when I founded 20 Today, 20 Tomorrow, an ideation hub, and it was the start of building of that vision, right? So it was a place where we would come together with multiple young innovators, and we would develop, you know, projects and solutions to some of the problems we saw that were out there in our society. And then from there, 2 years in, I came together with a couple of other friends, and we co-founded the Novus Group, which was an expanded vision of what 20 Today, 20 Tomorrow was. And then we kind of all mushed it all together, and we started the company, and now it's a couple months old now. And journey is incredible. I think we have a lot of great plans ahead of us. And
Congrats.
Thank you so much. Very exciting journey.
It is. Starting something like from scratch is really difficult, but it's also rewarding, right? You get to like create from your imagination and kind of go with it. And to me, that's what makes entrepreneurship so rewarding, because you don't have to go through multiple layers of approvals and people not understanding. You still have to sell it, but if you see the vision and you know you see it happening, you go for it, right? You have that freedom. So I want to hear a little bit about your journey. What do you love about being an entrepreneur?
I love all of it. I think I wouldn't have, you know, done it any better. I wouldn't have picked any other paths. And I think as we're having the conversation before the shoot, you're talking about how, you know, sometimes things don't, like, you don't chase them, they kind of just come to you. And I think I didn't choose the entrepreneurial path, it kind of like came to me. Because I mean, I'm in school for health sciences, and I initially went into university wanting to pursue medicine. So then somewhere around that time, entrepreneurial world called to me, and I answered. So my journey has been a really great one. I think it definitely has its highs and lows, and to kind of put it in perspective, the highs are really really high, but the lows are also really low. So it's living in this constant world of extremities and trying to find a way to stay in the middle as much as possible. I know whenever like something really really great happens, I sometimes try not to get like overly into it because then it's like it throws you on the other side, and then when something bad happens, it's like a huge fall. So trying to find a balance, which I'm not really good at. I'm not really good at finding the balance. I think I almost enjoy like those extreme emotions, if anything. I think it just makes the journey more real. It makes it more real. It makes you more conscious of what you're building. It makes you conscious that down the line, like these things you're doing is not things that are easy to do. You're constantly having to rewrite your own script, having to overcome obstacles, overcome things that you didn't perceive as obstacles at a point. Like finding out new things about yourself, which is one of my favorite things. Is whenever I get into something, I really like just getting into head first, and then kind of the rest happens naturally. So I feel, and I've learned so much from doing that, and I'm so grateful. And I think I'll always be grateful for this entrepreneurial world and journey and everything inside of it.
I could see the light in your eyes
Yeah.
when you talk about it, and how it's thrilling, right?
It's very thrilling.
Yeah, but I love that you understand the both perspectives. Like it could be really high when things are going well, and you're seeing results.
Yeah.
But then there's other sides too, when it's just you, right?
Yeah.
You have to wear different hats. If this thing fails, you can't blame your boss.
Yeah.
It's all
No
on
one to
you.
blame.
You have to face it, right?
Yeah.
And that's sometimes what makes entrepreneurship so scary for a lot of people. It's just like, it's just me. I'm on the spotlight. I'm behind the scenes. I'm doing everything. So maybe you could tell us some of the challenges you faced, and even talk about the mental health side of things, right? And how it impacts, because we hear entrepreneurs when they're successful, right? We hear them when they're winning awards, and we want to share their stories, but some of the things that doesn't get a lot of exposure is what happens when things are not going well, right? And sometimes talking about that normalizes and makes entrepreneurs humans, right? We're not superhumans. We're not immune to things that people struggle with, and we may have a higher capacity because this is a path we've chosen. So I want to hear about challenges you faced, how you've overcome them, what helped you.
I think really what has helped me is the people I'm surrounded with. I think that's something I've been blessed with. Maybe it's like a natural gift that I have, but I've been able to connect with a lot of great minds, a lot of people that we share the same vision. So I mean that has allowed our team to grow very fast. I've been able to all the co-founders I was able to connect with. These are people I'll forever be grateful for, and I think we talk about this all the time, but I think I have like an interesting, like kind of out of the norm story with like everyone on the team, and I mean our team we're maybe like 27.
Wow.
So it's interesting. Like I've met every single one of them in a different kind of scenario and different setting. Some like not even in Ottawa, and it was like very out of the blue kind of the relationships that were formed, and it was a bit more natural in that sense, where we got together, and as I would share my vision, we would kind of realize that it aligned very well with what they wanted to pursue, and that has allowed us to build what we built over these last couple of years. But I mean, with that and like growth comes a lot more pressure, right? And I think that's definitely one of the struggles that you have to work with is as a CEO, as someone who is running the company and pushing the vision forward. And I would say that I'm very much of like the visionary type of leader, where I have these grand visions, and I'm good at making plans and things like that. But then that does come with a lot of pressure because people are buying into the vision that you're building, and you have to execute, and you have to execute at a speed that can, at the same time as like make your dreams possible, but also make the people's expectations possible, right? So I think that definitely has come with a lot of pressure, and it's something that I've been kind of feeling more and more as we've grown. It's not a pressure that I don't like either. I think it's if anything, it turns into like a motivator for me, and it's just like another challenge I have to face, right? Because as we're all friends as we work together, but at the end of the day, like this is a vision that we have to make happen, and I have to do like everything in my power to make it happen. So just having that extra pressure obviously kind of wears on you, especially on the days where like you hit those lows. It really like adds onto that low, and it could be give for interesting days, but weeks sometimes, months. But I feel like at the end of the day, that pressure is there to help kind of show you that at the same time, like this pressure coming from these people is only because they care for the vision. It's only because they're there to build with you, right? And another big challenge we faced is obviously a lot of us are young, right? So coming into this world of, I would say like coming into the corporate world, coming into the world of consulting, the world of, trying to help organizations and company grow, that's usually a place where, the more experience you have, the more established you are, obviously the more people trust you to deliver. So it's always a battle between like, how can we showcase the potential and the experience we have, even though our age doesn't reflect it, right? So yeah, like you mentioned, I am like a 22-year-old CEO. So it does come with these challenges, but I think like I see every other challenge, it just makes the journey more exciting. It allows me to be more innovative in ways that I approach people, in ways that in who I approach as well. Things have to be a bit more organic, which takes a bit more time. So it's about learning the curves and the corners to cut and things like that. But beautiful journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you say 27 members? Like team?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
27.
That's incredible. That's huge.
Yeah, we're a big team. We're a great team. Very, very proud of every single one of them.
Wow. Yeah, I had a chance to look at your never-ending list of team members. What is this going to end? But it's amazing because, you talked about meeting people in different capacities, right?
Yeah.
It's not a job interview all the time.
No.
And I completely resonate with that. Like our team members, I've met them different scenarios, right? Some we've worked together before. Some I just met them, like, oh, you'd be great for that position. I don't really need an interview. I just see the potential. I just see, okay, this is what you care about. This is what we're doing. You might be a good fit. And I love that because it's more authentic, right? It's more organic because you're not just selling. They're not there to sell you their to get the job. They're just there as friends, acquaintances or colleagues or whatever. So I want to kind of talk about the journey. I know you've started 2 companies.
Yeah.
One evolved to another.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that because you're impact-driven
Yeah.
leader, right? And your organizations are really there to solve societal issues. So I want to talk about that, the impact that you're trying to make. Maybe start with 20 today, 20 tomorrow.
Yeah.
What was the dream,
Yeah.
the impact that you wanted to make with that, and how are you now transforming or evolving to the Novus Group?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think at the core of 20 today, 20 tomorrow was trying to find the best the frameworks that would allow us to tap into the sort of innovativeness and creativity that could allow us to look through problems and find things that maybe people missed and put things together that people never seen before. And one of the ways we're able to do that is by utilizing youth and young talent, because we think there's like a sweet spot where you are kind of in school and you're learning a lot of things, so you have a good amount of knowledge, but there's a lot of things that you also don't know. And I feel like that, and I mean, it's been kind of shown over the years that the more you know, like the more you're constrained over time in terms of how much you can create. So
the analysis paralysis.
Yeah, exactly. So like if you don't know something, and if you don't know that something can cause a problem, then you just don't know, so you can create around it. So then I feel like we did a really good job at establishing that with the 20 today, 20 tomorrow. We launched two big projects that were relatively successful. We created this like technology that could link students and young people to mental health resources through a sticker, and that was pretty cool in itself. It did really good. And then we also piloted a live talk show that had that was like kind of aimed to connecting young people and showcasing other young people, but all in the same platform. So we'd have young people come in, kind of like this style of podcast, and then we'd have like a live audience, and then we would have like a networking thing afterwards so people could connect as well. So then after that, we were like, okay, so then what's next? How can we build that thing that we wanted to build where, all these ideas could happen and can, that was like the big dream. And there was a lot of things that we realized could be added and could be tweaked to make that dream possible. One was increasing capacity for all the things that involve into building an idea. And then also like building an ecosystem of innovators, like in multiple different sectors. So then the Novus Group came to life, and it really came to life as this one-stop shop for venture creation, where we work with big innovators in multiple different sectors, and we're really trying to create this like ecosystem where innovation is possible, right? Where innovation thrives. And then our next step would be to eventually create this foundation where we could then help launch other ventures, and we could help launch more creative and sustainable and impactful ventures out into the world. And so that's really how we're moving towards that big grand vision of a world where anything's possible and all ideas can come to life.
I love it. I definitely echo everything you said in terms of sometimes that innocent, childlike spirit is what you need for innovation, because like you talk to corporate people or government workers, they're very risk averse, right?
Yeah.
So every step you take, they see the risk first.
Yeah.
And you can't really innovate with that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You gotta have this let's try approach. Let's
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah.
So I love that that's your approach, and you really foster that within the team. And I love your how you're harnessing the youth energy and innovation, right? Because a lot of times youth are disenfranchised because people don't understand them, right? They don't know what to do with all that energy, right? And so they're misunderstood, and they're not given platforms to innovate and be themselves and, welcome their ideas. Like you were saying, sometimes as a consultant, your age can work against you, right? People may not take you serious. But that's things that have to change. And what you're doing now, it's really shifting the narrative where youth are the change, right? And leading that innovation and that future. So I'm really excited to follow your journey.
You. And it's interesting, you kind of talk about the corporate world not being able to see the potential in young people. But I would also argue that young people don't see the potential in themselves as well. At the core of our teams is our ever-growing team of innovators. And these are young people that we see that have potential to create and that kind of have that innovativeness in them. So we bring them on and we hire them just to give ideas. And at first glance for them, it's always kind of weird dynamic of oh, am I just getting paid to just give ideas? That's all. So it's it is that's we truly value ideation and ideas, and we think if we can surround it with good frameworks and the right presence, the right kind of designs and things like that, well, ideas can do a lot of great things. So definitely resonate with that.
I love that. I could talk to you all day. So many gems you're sharing. I want to kind of talk about any advice that you would give to youth entrepreneur, to Black entrepreneur, someone just starting in the early stages, developing their ideas. Maybe they have so many ideas, they don't know what to do with it. So this thing that you're valuing so much, it might be a curse for them. I have all these ideas. That's one of the things I actually work towards when I'm working with clients, because they might come to me saying, I have so many ideas. I don't know what to do with them. So it's really saying, okay, let's talk about them. Let's create a space for all of them first. Then we could see how they could connect, right? So what advice would you give someone who's starting out, who may not see the value in what's happening? And they want to do it, but there's so much going on. What advice would you give them?
I mean, this might be a slightly, for someone who has a lot of ideas and they can't seem to kind of bring them in, it might be an advice that might not do much for them. But I always say dream big. That's always my biggest advice. I feel for me, it has given me a lot of comfort. It's definitely a weird thing to say, but I feel if the more big and grander I expand my dreams and my visions, it gives me more space to work and it gives me more leeway. So wherever kind of I end up going, I know I'll always be in that kind of frame. So I feel dreaming big is the best thing you can ever do in life. So dream big. Maybe those ideas are, maybe you need more of them. Maybe you need to get more of them, and then you'll realize that a lot of them actually click together, you were talking about. But I think always dreaming big is a good one. And another one would be embracing the challenge. I think challenges are good. They force you to dream bigger. If anything. So those are my top two.
Wow. I can hear people listening to this and saying, Drayton, really? Dream big and accept challenge? But I completely agree with you 100%. I think the more we dream big, the more we see possibilities, and we're not playing in a small box.
Yeah,
absolutely. We're actually seeing the world boundless, right?
Yeah,
how limitless it is.
Yeah.
So for us, mindset is a big piece.
Yeah.
You know, the entrepreneurial programs that we run, we start with the mindset development piece.
Yeah.
That's the first workshop that we do. So people come here for business plan writing, marketing strategy, pitching, but we start with mindset.
Yeah.
And it really just shifts everything. You know, all these challenges that they thought they had, now they see it as opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a challenge, but there's a solution. There's always a solution, right?
Yeah.
So how can I take a step back and see the solution and really empower myself? If there's a barrier or a block, how can I shift my mindset so I could see the possibilities too? So we cultivate growth mindset. At least we aim to cultivate growth mindset, and it makes everything else so much simpler. And I see them sometimes even correcting me. That's your limited mindset. That's your scarcity mindset. So I feel, okay, my job is done. I can go home now. So I love that, and that you shared, you know, dreaming big and embracing challenges is really growth mindset.
Yeah.
Right? You maybe you have it innately. You're blessed to be, you know, on that spectrum.
Yeah.
On the growth side. Maybe looking back, right? Thinking back, what are some of the mindset issues or the mindset blocks that people face?
That's a good one. I think there's a lot, and I mean I'll speak personally for me. I think in terms of believing that I was meant for something bigger and all of that, I think like you said, I was kind of blessed with that, which I'm very grateful for. Always been an optimist. Always thought there was always something out there for me. I think it came to more recently. It's more like, what can I kind of accomplish with this on a financial side? I think when you grow up with maybe a little bit less than, you know, some of your peers, I think you don't necessarily see those kind of possibilities happening, and I think whether we want it or not, there's always a restriction that we have. Because I mean, my family was we were pretty well off. I think we're pretty good, but when it comes to building businesses and building like empires and things that last long, you know, that build that long-term wealth, I think if you were never kind of exposed to that, there's a lot of ins and outs and things that you won't really know. And even when you get the chance to discover and learn about them, I feel like if you don't change your perspective on a lot of things, like perspective on money, perspective on how to create money, perspective on what's your value, and what's the value of the work that you do, it'll limit you, and it'll limit the possibilities that can open up. But the moment you switch, that's where the magic happens, because now other people are seeing you for your true value, and long term, like, they respect that more, right? So when it comes to like pricing and how you structure certain things and who you approach, I think once you change that, you can remove everything, even like the whole imposter syndrome and, you know, thinking that you don't necessarily belong in the space you are. I think that generally is something that's in you, especially in the way you grow up. But I think to really get to the level you want to get to, and me personally, knowing that I have all these grand ambitions, I'm in the process of making that kind of switch and kind of seeing those things from a different perspective, because I have to. I have to do it. I have to do it. Yeah.
And you have that awareness to see,
Yeah.
like, I have a limiting belief towards money,
Yeah.
right? I have a limiting beliefs towards something. You have to have that awareness to see, otherwise you think that's just who you are, right?
Yeah.
And that scarcity mindset, especially with money, we see it often. I see it within myself.
Yeah.
We have this idea that making a lot of money is bad.
Yeah.
You know, and you're gonna change. You'll become someone else, a bad person.
Definitely.
It's a root of all evil.
Yeah.
Things like that. So it's really, you can't really get something that you don't want to have. Like if there's a conflict within you, there's part of you wants to be successful, and then there's another part that doesn't want to make money. You know what I mean? So sharing that's a big one that we address, and we see often in our community.
Oh yeah, and I think it's definitely a big one when it comes to like immigrant communities, especially ones like first generation immigrants, I guess, because you're really trying to, like, you come into this place where everything is unknown, right? You don't really know where to start and what to do, so you're always focused on how can I build sustainability and stability quickly. So obviously you want that for your kids. So you want your kids to do something that has a bit more or less risk, going into things that are a bit more set, that can guarantee that future. But then, like, that has its certain limitations when it comes to how much can you actually do, especially in a place where we're blessed, like Canada, I think, has multiple different opportunities available that, you could tap into.
Yeah.
But if you limit yourself, then
exactly.
you can't get into it.
Yeah, 100%. It's all within. And sometimes there's trauma attached to it. Like if there was trauma with money, right? If you had to deal with that. So every time you want to take a risk, the idea of losing that steady paycheck is scary, right? So, like, navigating that, it's all real feelings, right? And sometimes entrepreneurs look successful, but then there's the day-to-day stuff. You know what I mean? There's the cash flow issues that are happening. And so we try to normalize real issues and take the shame out of it, right? I'm struggling with imposter syndrome. I'm struggling with understanding my finances. Like, I'm a creative, I'm good at this, but when it comes to this, I'm not good at it. It takes away from that superhuman cape that we always have to wear as an entrepreneur. But I think just, being vulnerable and saying, I struggle with this, and it's okay. I'm on that journey. I'm on the journey to getting better, to finding resources and sharing. This is what helped me. Right? So if you were to share any resources for, new entrepreneurs, what was some of the things that helped you that you use?
I think definitely my team and the people that support me. Again, I've been blessed with being surrounded with people who kind of complement some of the areas that I'm a bit less good into, and I think finding those people are what's key to the success. Being able to, come together with people who, one, share your vision, but also have those expertise that you may not have, adds a lot to what can be done to build your visions and build your business. But also, like, seeking out support for it and resources like this, programs, They allow you to network. They allow you to connect to other entrepreneurs, and overall just networking, I think, is a big one. I think everyone talks about it all the time, but network is big. Those people that you surround yourself with, that you grow into your network, can give you advice. And I think, especially for younger people, it's a good place to kind of make up for what other people may perceive as the lack of experience. Is if you're surrounded with a lot of people with experience, then you can kind of use that to your advantage and be like, oh, I know this because this person, trusts me with this information, and just, yeah, I think that's a big one. Network is for sure.
And you're natural at networking. You're at home.
Thank you.
So I think we need another podcast just to talk about that.
How to connect with people.
Yes, I feel like each piece that we talked about needs its own discussion. We want to dissect and go deeper.
I agree.
Yeah. So, but I know we have to wrap up. Yeah. So sadly, we have to close. But I thank you so much for being here, for being open and sharing your journey with us. It's incredible. It's very inspiring, and I know it's going to help other people see future possibilities. Before we wrap up, do you have any question for me? Any closing remarks?
You asked me a lot of questions. My one question for you is, like, what has kept you going? What's something that keeps pushing you, your journey?
I think it's the vision. It's the boundless vision. It's the boundless vision. I think for me, it's connecting with something that's deeper than me.
Yeah.
That really not only drives me, but also instills patience and acceptance in what I'm doing. So connecting with the difference that I want to make, seeing people that are benefiting from what I'm doing, helps me stay the course. And when things get difficult and I want to give up, I'm like, oh, but you're doing this it's not about you. You're not that important. You're just a piece of the puzzle. So you got to keep that puzzle, I guess, going to become as big as it can be. You're asking about, how this place came to be, and I was telling you, it found us, and that's the only way I can describe it. Like, the ideas we're getting, the inspiration we're getting, it's supposed to come to this world. We're kind of just channeling it.
I love that. Yeah.
It's something that needs to come to existence, and we are the vehicle to bring it forth, right? So you kind of take that first step, and it takes a life of its own. Like, your friends coming together, people signing up and saying, we want to be part of this, and it just becomes its own thing, and you just watch it and go, oh my God, this is happening.
This is happening. I love that. Yeah. That's really, like you said, there's a lot of things we could chat about more. But that last thing you said about, us being the vessels, I truly believe in that. I firmly believe in that. I have multiple theories about that, but we'll keep that for another time.
Yes, we will. More to come.
More to come.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in this week. And if you enjoyed the show, please let us know about it. We love connecting with you all. Goodbye for now.